It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. Nobody gives a shit about what's happened on TBS because it's time for the BOOM. It's time for the Boom with Cam G. Except for I'm Will G, and this is my boy holding it down on the ones and twos. Tonight, it's my man Metalcore Mike.
What's up?
Mike, how are you, my friend?
You just energized me. A moment ago, I told you I was tired. Now that intro, man. That intro hits.
Jaxpo's here. Scows is here. Scows is here. Phil is here.
What's
Phil
up?
is here.
Right.
Trey, Sean, Will, I have to be. Trey again. It's time. My boy Matt Ritter's in the chat. Allison is here. What's up, B Dave? Everybody's in the chat tonight. What's good, Dylan? Everybody, what's up? What's up? What's up? Jamie's here. It's a good Wednesday night, my guy. How's your Wednesday going?
It was busy today,
Busy day with work. We got some wrestling to talk about. We're gonna get into it. Talk about some AEW. That's right, Sean. Boom. Matt, first question out of the gate. Where's Cam? Cam was in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Our boy was in Indianapolis having a chance to check out Dynamite Live. So me and Mike are trying not to burn the house down while he's at work.
So how was your day? You asked me. I got to ask you. How was your day?
My day was steady. Not busy, but steady. I woke up. I did some choring around the house, took care of the animals, ate some lunch, played some video games, got a ton of content put out. I've been really hyper focused on like Instagram and Facebook and trying to work on some of the other social medias that we don't have, but that we haven't given the focus to in the past. Yeah. So that's kind of been my new focus this week. Scals and I have been brainstorming about different ways to post and get Rivet City Radio out there. So we've kind of started stretching across all the socials. So it's been an exciting day. It's been a shit ton of wrestling, dude. So much wrestling over the last like 10 days.
Yeah. We had All In, then it went to Monday Night Raw, and then we had NXT, and then you have Dynamite, and then you have Impact, and you have SmackDown, and you have Rampage, and you have Collision, and then you had All Out, and you had we forgot about Payback,
then All Out, then back around. So now we're going this is, if you count All In, so that's 7, 8, 9, 10 straight consecutive days of live wrestling. That's not counting NWA 75. That's not counting Impact Resurgence, I believe was the last show they did. That's not counting MLW's Fury Road. That's not counting any of that shit, dude. Nope. This is just major AEW, WWE, and we've stretched 10 days. We know we've got 11 and 12 taken care of with Impact and SmackDown on Thursday and Friday. Huge question before we dive into Wednesday night, dude. Are you tired yet?
Am I tired yet?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I told
physically, you. Yes. Wrestling world tired. Are you wrestling tired?
No. Honestly, no. I mean, there's really good things going on right now, and people like to say there's not good things going on right now. Things are boring, all this stuff. But you really got to like look deep into the stories that are happening to really focus and see what's good. For example, right now in WWE, the Bloodline's taking a break. They're uber focused on the Judgment Day right now. And the Judgment Day, believe it or not, is a huge storyline. Some people don't think so, but it is. And some of the action that, but I mean, I would have to say both products are putting out really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. I mean, there's each company is going to have their own flaw. Every company is going to have their own flaws. There are things that kind of take things down a little bit. But for the most part, AEW and WWE alone are putting out good stuff.
I agree. But I don't think the best wrestling is on Monday and Wednesday and Friday nights anymore. That's a different story for a different day, because we can talk about the other companies on Sunday nights. Between Botch Spots and Table Spot, we pretty much fucking cover everything. But it's Wednesday, so it's time for Dynamite, my friend. The Boom, Wednesday nights. So let's talk about it. Dynamite. Indianapolis, Indiana, the Hoosier country, if you will, that gets brought up and used a couple times. My family is from Indiana, so South Bend, Greenwood. Shout out to those guys. It opens with Orange Cassidy comes out. He's all beaten up. Tons of thank you Orange chants. The nice thing I put in my notes: the longest reigning AEW champ for any title belt.
Yes.
It's on NXT on Tuesdays. I don't watch those scows. Best wrestle have Naked with Mike. I would wrestle Mike naked.
So he's actually the second longest reign in history.
Okay.
Jade Cargill held the TBS title for over 500 days.
All right.
So we'll she's actually the longest reigning champ of AEW.
What's up, Dan? Dirt Sheet Dan Bakley in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He comes out and he hits you with the hey, thank you. They told him to stay home. You know, he hits the I am freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy and I don't have a catchphrase. I kind of love that. I hated the, you know, I always say I'm a big in-ring worker over character worker guy first. 2023 has been super weird, but I've come to love good character work in wrestling. Mox comes out. There's the exchange, the stare down. They get ready for an international title defense. What did you think about OC's like opening promo to start Dynamite?
I liked it. Short, sweet, to the point. You know, they tell him, hey, stay home. Don't come in. No, I'm coming. I'm going to be here every week. You know, be in front of you fans. And that's that. Him pretty much, yeah, it was short and sweet. And it got to the point. He got to the point that he wanted to make. And we don't hear a lot from, we haven't heard from Orange Cassidy a lot in the past. Didn't talk a lot. I would have to say I think we've heard more from him in the last 3 weeks than we've had in the last 3.5 years.
Agreed. I definitely agree with that.
I mean, in the last 3.5 years, he's had his little like one sentence liners kind of things, but he really dug deep as far as talking with this thing with Mox. And I don't think that this is over between them two.
I definitely agree with that for sure.
I mean, could we see the rematch at Grand Slam in 2 weeks? Maybe. Do they save it for the next pay-per-view? Maybe. That's one thing that AEW likes to do. I noticed they have this trend of they kind of build up a big match and they'll throw it on TV instead of save it for a pay-per-view.
Like Blood and Guts just being for free TV on Wednesday nights randomly in the middle of the spring. Come the fuck on. Like, what sense does that make? Dusty Rhodes is rolling over in his grave because his brainchild is just out there for free. Like, the whole point of Blood and Guts is to be the ultimate payback. That's what War Games was when it was first starting. Exactly. I completely agree with the giving free shit away on TV. Like, make a blow-off match mean something. If there's a street fight on every card, those don't mean anything anymore.
And that's one thing too is they're having like these pay-per-view events on free TV, like Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen. You know, those are things that you can make. Like, you don't have to charge $50 for those type of pay-per-views. You can charge like $29.99 or $19.99. They're smaller pay-per-views. They could be 2 hours long. You have a decent card together, and it's not on free TV.
Dare I say,
put together a banger card.
Dare I say, did Impact originally do something with that concept of doing the weekly pay-per-views that were only like $15? Like, is that something AEW could maybe do in lieu of doing more pay-per-views? Maybe add these like network specials, make Battle of the Belts a $15 pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
They could, but they've gotten well over extensive with the Battle of the Belts thing.
So they're what, like Battle of the Belts 36 or something?
Like 5 or 6, somewhere around there. I mean, they could have made Battle of the Belts their Clash/Night of Champions event where every belt is on the line.
Bakley makes a good point. Impact does it with the Impact Plus pay-per-view specials like Victory Road and some of those. Absolutely right. I dropped my pen.
Well, that's the one thing that Impact. That's the one thing I like about Impact is like I don't have Impact Plus.
Yeah.
Okay. I watch Impact pay-per-views off of Fight TV, the app. And what's nice is my phone connects right to my Xbox, which comes up on my TV. So I could still use my phone while I'm watching the event. It's awesome. But like when the pay-per-view is is like an Impact Plus special, then Fight only charges you $10. You don't get charged the $29.99 or the $39.99. You get charged $10. And it's nice. It's nice because if you want to watch the pay-per-view and you don't have you don't have that much funds, but you still want to watch it, and it's $10, like it's okay. Yeah, pull the $10 out and do it. It's nice and affordable. And they could definitely do that with the Battle of the Belts.
Agreed. All right, hop into this match. AR Fox versus Moxley, international title match. AR Fox comes out with Darby. I'll get to that. Lots of chops to open. Fox does Fox things. He goes flying. It's not what does the Fox say, it's what does the Fox do. And he does flying planches and moonsaults and dragon ranas, apparently. But Mox was super quick to shut that shit down. AR Fox goes into the crowd. This is one thing I applaud Mox for being a good vet is he allows Fox to get his moves in. He gets over. Fox has that killer 450 splash. A beautiful Death Rider for the finish. 1-0 defense for Mox with the international title. But my question for you before we move on, the bigger story in this segment was Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, and AR Fox. The joining of those three guys with all the BS between Nick Wayne and AR Fox and OC and Moxley. The AR Fox Moxley match is almost just null and void. It didn't matter, right?
I mean, for it being a good match.
Well, taking in-ring work, beautiful. It was just an open challenge because we got to defend it this week on TV match, right? AR Fox just had a birthday, give a dog a bone kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I was gonna say, for being a good match, yeah, it was one of those matches that you knew right coming out of the gate, you knew Mox was gonna retain. You knew it. They weren't gonna switch that title on him that quick.
Not a chance.
They weren't. They're gonna see how he can ride with this championship. I still think he's not gonna defend it as much as Orange Cassidy. I will be surprised if he does. And I will applaud him if he does. Because, like I said, Orange Cassidy gave that championship meaning. That belt right now, as it stands, even though it's on Moxley, still has more meaning right now than the TNT title, in my eyes.
I've always said the international title looks and feels like the mid-card secondary title, and the TNT title is a TV title. There's nothing wrong with that. Mid-card titles are there for a reason. There was an NWA TV title, so that way the fans who watched the TV show could see belts be defended. That's why they exist. The world champion he's not expected to defend his belt every week on television. It's not the standard or the principle that was set, 100 years ago when they were still doing the shit in carnival tents.
That belt is basically like the belt that's sitting to your right now.
The Intercontinental title? Absolutely. I would definitely say if continued to be booked and built right, the international title could be AEW's Intercontinental title.
Yep.
Christian comes out. He confronts Nick Wayne backstage. He kind of has that Buddy Wayne beef. Christian kind of recruits him. I love the say hi to your mom stuff. Christian Cage, put that on the table. We'll come back to him for the main event. Next match, Chris Statlander and Emi Sakura. Sakura. Yep. TBS title match. First, I was really hyped that they put the women's match here versus later in the card. They also gave them a pretty good amount of time to do some work. What'd you think about the TBS title match?
I will say this. This match was physical right off the start.
1000%. First thing in my notes, good physical matchup.
Yes. The one thing that I didn't like, it was kind of annoying me. And this is the thing, when I'm watching something, I kind of pick pieces sometimes. And I'm like, Emmy, can you just please stop screaming? Like, stop. Like, come on. Like, but I also timed this match. I did. I don't know if you got the same time as I did, but I hit the timer from the moment the bell rung. Under 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 27 seconds.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't time tonight. I've been getting into the habit of timing it, but I didn't. And here's why. I was watching on Hulu TV. My notes actually say at one point that Hulu TV is fucking weird because I realized one, I started fast forwarding to catch up because I was fast forwarding through commercials and stuff, and I realized fast forwarding through the commercials fucked with my match times. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I kind of caught myself about midway through the opening match. So I didn't get to time it. That does seem short considering it was really the only women's content we had all night outside of a Tony Storm stuff. But again, we'll get there. Go ahead.
This match, though, I will say this: for 4 minutes and 27 seconds, it felt longer for the work they were doing. It felt slightly longer. I wouldn't say 10 minutes. I would say maybe 3 minutes longer, around the 7-minute range it felt. But for the work that these two women did, it felt a lot longer. It was great action. Again, hard hitting. I'm happy Stat is TBS champion, but I think they waited a little too long to put a belt on her.
She was injured, bro. You got to give her the benefit of the doubt.
I'll give her the benefit. I will.
Okay.
But you got to look at it 2-3 years ago when she was competing for the women's world the world championship. She was hot. Like,
absolutely,
everybody wanted to see Chris Statlander. Like, it was everybody like pulling for Stat. Everybody was on her side. Now it's, every match she has, you're almost seeing split. It's not all on her side, no matter who she faces. You go back and watch Sunday. Half the crowd was Ruby, half the crowd was her. You go and watch that match again tonight. Some of the crowd was rooting for Emmy.
Agreed.
We're back 2-3 years ago. Everybody was rooting for Chris Statlander.
What's up, Dead Hat? Thanks for stopping by. I love you. I know you're in the middle of the Wolfpack right now. Maybe they should have given Soho the belt this past Sunday. I don't disagree that Ruby Soho doesn't deserve the rub, man. She deserves the title push. I would say absolutely give it to her. My notes on the match: good physical matchup, great back and forth. The stalling backbreaker where she picked her up and held her there and then brought her down for the backbreaker. Genius. That was chef's kiss good. I wrote down in my notes, Stat gets a good 6 to 7 minute match with a win. And I eyeballed that without a timer. So I wasn't too far off. You said almost 5 minutes. So with entrances and stuff, it probably would have been a 10-minute segment.
See, but you just said right there, a almost 7-minute match.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
Yeah.
So, but as far as the Ruby Soho thing, real quick.
No, absolutely.
Ruby Soho has been in AEW 2 years now. She's had 4 championship matches, 2 world, 2 TBS championships. And the closest she came to winning was obviously on Sunday. If you go and watch all her championship matches, the closest she came to was on Sunday. I really hope that if you plan on putting the title on Ruby Soho, do it sooner than what you did. It's almost like the Chris Statlander situation. Like, people want her to win that title. When she wins it, you gotta hope it's not too late. Because you want people to be on her side. Whether she's, even if she's a heel, you still want people to be interested that she is your champion.
Agreed. You absolutely do. Scows isn't wrong. It wasn't 2 hours of TV, less than 5 minutes of women's wrestling on the card. This is a regular occurrence with AEW. A 10-minute segment plus the Tony Storm stuff. Like, you may have gotten 12 to 13 minutes. So you're talking less than an eighth, less than a 3.5, bro. I'd be pissed.
I think MJF and Samoa Joe had a longer segment than all the women content tonight.
Roddy got a segment. This could have been a short women's match. It was the Roddy in therapy, mommy and daddy issues.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down, I love the kingdom. I don't care for Roddy. And it says he's a manipulative ass. And that's coming from a retired fuckboy. Like, Roddy's giving off strong deadbeat ex-boyfriend vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You got anything to add to that part? I mean,
he is giving off those vibes, trying to come in between Max and Adam.
It's like when your girl leaves a fuck boy and she finds somebody who's going to take really good care of her. And then the deadbeat's like, no, remember, I took care of you. I was there. I'm the one. You remember 10 years ago when I did something?
Yep.
Like, trust me, I was there. I was that fuck boy. Like, I know these routines. This guy's not going to get any better. What's Dan say? Samoa Joe broke Roderick Strong's neck and Adam Cole arrived too late. Samoa Joe was about to break MJF's neck and he ran out just in time to save him. The layers. Like fucking onions, bro. You're not wrong, Bakley. You're not wrong, Dan the man. Next on the docket, Don Callis comes out. He sits down at commentary. Jericho comes out. Him and Sammy got a match against Aussie Open. Les Sex Gods. What a stupid fucking name for a tag team. I'll just say that, my friend. I said, okay, match. Sammy's hella athletic. The stalling vertical suplex with him was super cool. Aussie Open takes control. Jericho lets the other guys get his stuff in. Like AW vets are good about letting the other guys get their stuff in. I'm going to give them credit there. Big Judas effect for the 1, 2, 3. What'd you think about Les Sex Gods and Aussie Open?
Like you said, I mean, the vets letting the younger guys getting their stuff in, and Aussie Open, I have not seen much of actually until they came into AEW. I didn't see anything of Aussie Open, and they impressed me as a tag team. I like them.
I'm a big. I'm not a big fan. I enjoyed their New Japan Strong work.
Yeah, like I said, I've never seen them before AEW. I will say this: the ending of the match, I don't want to say it was like I'm trying to look for the right word, because it almost like Aussie Open. I forget who it was that was in the ring with Jericho. It looked like the match was going to continue for another maybe minute or two, and then out of nowhere, Jericho hits the Judas effect, gets the 1, 2, 3. It felt like a really like premature finish. Like it was almost like the referee told them, like, "Hey guys, like we gotta close it. Let's go."
Yeah,
and they hit the Judas effect and been done.
You guys got to land the plane now, like.
And I think with what happened in the match between Chris and Sammy, if this match would have continued, I think they could have played more into it. And they did, but I think they could have added a little more than what was done at the end of that match.
I like it. I don't disagree.
And it could have been done in match, like before they won. You know what I mean? Like pretty much like the knockoff happened, and then we could have gotten Sammy back up on the apron, and we could have seen him and Jericho, kind of going at it, and then Aussie Open attack, and there could have been a struggle for a tag. We could have even seen Sammy get a hot tag, and then Sammy could have accidentally knocked Jericho off, and Sammy could have turned around and got the win in some way, shape, or form, instead of Jericho getting the win.
No, you're not. You're not wrong. All right, we got the strap match recap. I'm going to ask you a very tough question, and it's going to be a hell of an. It could be an entire episode dissecting the two matches I'm about to ask you about. Bryan Danielson had a strap match against Ricky Starks. Amazing match. One of the highest graded matches. I gave it all out. The last strap match he had before Ricky Starks was against the late great Bray Wyatt. Which of those two strap matches did you enjoy more?
Ooh, yeah, that is a tough one. As much as I do want to say the Bray match, I would have to pick the Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson match.
No, I didn't say Starch. I said Stark. I have to agree that Ricky Stark's strap match was amazing, bro. And it sucks to have to say with the recency of everything going on, Bray Wyatt's match wasn't a bad match. I'm not even going to say it. But the raw and intensity of getting Bryan Danielson's return after everything that happened with Punk and all of that, like, you could feel it in his work. It felt like he wanted to be there. And Ricky Starks is a fucking star, so it was easy for him to get it over.
And that's the thing with Ricky Starks, like you just said. Ricky Starks got over without going
without winning. Yes. Getting over doesn't mean going over. Those two things aren't synonymous, people. You got to remember that. Get your in-ring IQ up. Learn you something. Go back and watch some JCP and some Georgia Championship Wrestling. Watch the Von Erichs. Don't wait for the movie because it's got MJF in it. Go watch some WCCW. Ooh. Don Callis with Takeshka. I about said take a shitta, and then I was like, this isn't creation conversations in the hub. This isn't me smacking it raw. I've got to use their real names. Takeshka, Don Callis to Takeshka. They're gonna make their announcement who he's fighting next. Do you give a shit?
50-50.
Me too. Like I'm in it, but I'm not like in it.
I do because this was a huge win on Sunday for Takeshka.
Absolutely.
Huge win. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at it the last 2 weekends, both oh my God, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks took pinfall losses.
Yes. You and I talked about that.
Yeah. And this is helping Takeshka boost up more. And he can be a major heel. Like, even without Don Callis, he can be a major heel. Look at what Shinsuke is doing over in WWE. He could be a major heel. He can mirror, I wouldn't say copy what Shinsuke is doing, but do something similar. But I think he could be, he looks like he can be a deeper heel than Shinsuke.
I think it would. He can be, especially with a good mouthpiece like Callis.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion, it was the segment of the night. It's coming up. The champ, ladies and gentlemen, Maxwell Jacob Friedman comes out. The devil has arrived in Hoosier country. He makes a comment about being chubbed up, and you know I love weird boners. He talks about going home to New York, and he says the words and he does the things, and he's like, "Ooh, I'm your scumbag," and everybody pops. Yay, MJF. Samoa Joe comes out. My notes say he doesn't work here. You don't go here because brand splits aren't real. Drafts don't matter. Yada, yada, yada. What seems to be the problem, kid? The ice cream truck bit was pretty good. He says, I'm being a star on the other company's network. Jokes and venom. Fantastic back and forth. MJF talks about no skipping lines and the importance of the tournament. Joe's like, well, fuck you. I'm going to enter this tournament. I'm going to fight my way through it. I'm going to fuck you up. This was a question for you mid notes. I said, ask Mike this. Do you think we needed a WWE reference every like 90 seconds during this segment?
No, but yes, because it did add into the story on what they were getting to. They could have left maybe one or two things out, because look at it this way. You make those references, you're plugging the other company on your own TV. You're pretty much telling people, hey, even though this happened back in 2015, 2016, go back and watch it. That's what you're doing. You're telling people to go back and watch it.
I'll ask, do you feel like Joe deserves this title push right now? Do you think do you think, obviously this is building. I also wrote down in my notes. I'll go ahead and ask you, he'll be the guy, right? At Grand Slam. Joe will be the guy that wins the tournament. They're building this rivalry up. Do you think he'll be the guy that gets the shot at MJF at Grand Slam?
I hope not. But at the same time, it's basically a detour to what we're really supposed to be getting. And that's Adam Cole.
Yeah. It's just another mini feud until we get to the story that we're going to get to.
Exactly.
Michael Root, what's up, brother? Thank you for stopping by on YouTube over on Off the Top Media.
My favorite jokes were the Pillsbury Joe boy.
Yeah, that one popped. That was a good one.
That was priceless. I lost my stuff when he said that stuff. But I mean, I think they're gonna have a good match. The one thing I liked about MJF in this was he's a babyface, and when you see typical baby faces and heels of Joe's stature are going after them, they kind of show like that fear tactic. Like, oh my god, I'm afraid of this guy. They kind of like bellow in until they have the match.
It's
MJF,
easy to be the David and Goliath thing when you've got that big, brooding, evil Samoa Joe across the ring from you.
yeah, and that's why I liked what MJF did here is he just got right up in his face. Like he didn't do that typical baby face like belly in and like, no. He freaking just got right in his face and and got his stuff in. And that's what I liked. I liked that little bit of a difference. That's
Agreed.
what I liked.
MJF looks at him and he hits him with it. He says it. He says, I'm Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it. Yeah. Joe beats the shit out of him for it. MJF gets owies. He gets owies bad. Adam Cole comes out and helps. Roddy comes out with the Kingdom with no music, mind you. It seemed weird that they no entrance Roddy Strong here. That felt like a weird push going into a match. Roddy and the Kingdom. It is what it is, right?
I think the reason why we didn't get no entrance was I think Roddy was supposed to be there a lot sooner.
Whoa, wait a second. What? Rest in peace, Big Boss Man? When did that happen? Talk to me about Roddy Strong and Trent Beretta real quick. Disconnected a lot during this match. Hulu Live is tricky. Roddy gets the win and advances. What did you think about it overall while I looked this Big Boss Man news up?
So I was actually cooking my dinner during this match. So I was.
Big Boss Man died in 2004.
I was going to say, he's been gone for a long time.
That's what I thought. I was like, I didn't think he was still around. Bubba Rogers had been gone for a minute. I was like, wait a second. Yeah, that's what I thought, Adam. I was like, I thought he had been dead for a second. I was like, this is not a Mandela effect. My memory's not that bad.
As far as this match, I was cooking my dinner during this match. So I was kind of, catch the TV for 30 seconds, go back, pay attention when I was cooking, watch TV. Like I was back and forth. And again, another one of those you knew who was going to win, but wasn't a bad match.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. And obviously they're playing towards the storyline of what we're going to be getting to. I have a feeling when it's all said and done. Now, I didn't see or not. Adam Cole isn't in this tournament.
No, Adam Cole is not in this tournament. No.
Yeah, because we got Penta, we got Jeff Hardy, Darby Allin advanced, Roddy advanced. I think who else is in this thing? Samoa Joe. Yeah, but I could have thought Adam Cole was going to be in this tournament. My prediction was Adam Cole and Roddy Strong at the end. That was going to be my prediction, and then we ultimately get Adam Cole and MJF at Grand Slam. But I'm glad they kept Adam Cole away from this. I am, because now you can save it for a pay-per-view. I don't care if we got them twice on pay-per-view against each other. Once. We got them once on pay-per-view against each other. I don't care. Do it again. How many times in the past when we had to fork out the money for, during the Attitude Era, where we've seen the same main event 3-4 times in a row?
We saw Rock Austin at WrestleMania 3 separate times.
Yeah.
We've seen Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, 15 times?
Yeah.
9 times, I think, in reality. I think it's up to Brock, Roman, like 7 or 8, 9. Like, it's been a minute. Like, they've had a few.
But, I mean, like, as far as, like, consecutive pay-per-views, though, I mean, you go back and you would get, Austin and The Undertaker at SummerSlam, and then you get them for another 2 or 3 pay-per-views. You get Rock and Austin. You get Rock and Triple H. You got Rock and Mankind. Triple H and Mankind, or Mick Foley. So going towards the well of having the same main event, 2 pay-per-views in a row, I'm not upset about it. It's almost like we were programmed to see it as, in a sense, as fans.
You're right. Scout says, how's Jay Lethal and Jeff Hardy in this over wrestlers who deserve it? AEW ceases to amaze me, says Scouse.
So I like Jay Lethal and Jeff Hardy being involved in this.
I like Jay Lethal. Jeff Hardy needs to ride off into the sunset before he ruins his legacy.
I can agree with that. But at the same, like, this is the thing with Jeff Hardy is I think as long as he's working and as long as he's doing things, he's pretty much keeping his mind busy. You know what I mean? Like, keep himself away from the bull crap. As long as he's working, keep him busy. And I think AEW can do that for him.
They tell people who go through substance abuse, don't allow yourself to replace one addiction with another. And Jeff very well could find himself in a position where he tries to replace the other vices in his life with overworking himself. And that's what I'm worried for, is I worry for his health in the long run, because at his age, and I can say that because I'm damn near 40. And if I jumped off and did a swanton, I'd probably break in half. My point is, he just doesn't need to be doing it anymore.
And that's where Matt can come in, though. If they would work tag matches, Jeff doesn't need to be in the ring that much.
He could work safely in tag matches. Look at the Rock and Roll Express. Shit, they just wrestled in Dorton Arena last November.
Yeah.
Less than a year ago.
Jeff Hardy can be... You can have Matt in the ring for six minutes and then go for the hot tag on Jeff. Jeff come in, play the hits, be done.
Get out and be done.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Keep him safe.
Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it safe, stupid.
And the reason why I like Jay Lethal in this is because I would like to see Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe face off in this tournament. And I think you know why.
Oh, yes. That's a lot of history in that match.
Yes, sir.
Next on Dynamite, we got the next lady segment for the night. We got Toni Storm, and I put in my notes DND for Damsel in Distress, because this Marilyn Monroe Damsel in Distress Toni Storm is ridiculously awesome for some reason, dude. I can't get enough of it. I'm curious to see what she's like when they cut this like prissier, holier than thou woman loose in a match, to see what she's capable of, because I hope she's like the over-the-top female dirty heel cheat to win that I would associate with a character like this. What do you think about Toni Storm's new gimmick?
Like I said last week, I'm not a fan of Toni Storm.
In general?
In general, I'm not. I never was. Never was a fan of her. If they're going to play this right, again, she's going to need new ring gear. She's going to need a new entrance theme. She's going to need to play that part. If she comes out with her old theme, then you know what? She already threw away that gimmick. That's the thing, is a lot of people will say like, oh, the theme song don't matter. It matters.
They do matter.
Because, and I've heard this from professional wrestlers, they said it, your first 10 seconds coming out of the curtain are one of the most important moments on whether people are going to like you or not. And your music plays a big part in that, because it's got to fit with who you're coming out as. This is a new gimmick for her, a new regime for her in a sense, I guess you could say. Then she better literally pull the 360, new song, new gear. And if she's going to have that bad attitude, then she got to play like that straight up dirty heel. Like when the referee's not paying attention, do something dirty. Like she's got to play it to the max.
A la Sensational Sherry. That's kind of who I think about when I think about where Toni Storm's taking this character.
Yeah.
We got an Adam Page interview. He came out in cowboy boots and his blue jeans and his button down doing cowboy shit. Swerve comes out, levels the absolute fuck out of Hangman. I wrote down the words, the over budget battle royal. Is that what they're actually calling this thing?
Yeah, I think it was called the over budget. Yeah.
The over budget battle royal.
That's what
What'd
it
you
was
think
called.
about it? I didn't have my volume up. I started to prep for the show at this point, so I kind of turned the volume down. I could see what was happening. I could see Adam Page was like, I'm gonna win the battle royal and I'm gonna do it for the fans. Like, because the elite are good guys now, right? All of a fucking sudden, because heels and faces, it don't matter in 2023. So like Adam Page comes out, he's talking, Swerve comes out, beats his ass, and then it builds. What'd you think about it? I like Swerve. I think I like him and Prince what's it, Prince Nani? I like those guys. I'm here for it. Everything the Mogul Enterprises brings to the table. I'm glad they got rid of Baby Brock and Tattoo Faced Trench or whatever his name was. But what'd you think, Bubba?
So the one thing about Adam Page is I hate the fact that almost every battle royal they have him in, they have him win.
Yep.
Like it's like he's probably won every battle royal he's been in, but one. You know, and 9 times out of 10, the battle royals they don't mean anything. They don't. Like he's been what battle royals for the Dynamite Diamond ring, which never it's MJF's ring. That's it. Like don't even have anything for that anymore. Like that is gone. Like if they do anything with that ring, it's not going to mean anything. But I'm gonna backtrack real quick to when he was world champion.
Okay.
His world title reign to me
Was useless.
was yeah, it was because he didn't really do anything.
The
He just
bigger story was all the MJF stuff that was happening and him
yeah,
leaving the company and all of that was the bigger story than their world title was at the time.
it was. And Adam Page basically felt like the belt holder for Punk because Punk beat him for it. It was basically like, okay, yeah, Punk's going to go after this title. He's going to, he's coming around. He's going to get a world title shot. Who can we put this belt on and who can Punk beat him for? Oh, why? Well, let's put it on Hangman. That way we could say, Hangman held it. That was it. And ever since then, he's just lost. And I honestly wasn't when he first came out and was even in the ring, I wasn't really interested. I got interested when Swerve came out. I was like, okay, we haven't seen Swerve in 2 weeks. Let's see what happens. He looks uber focused while Prince Nana is, dancing his ass away. But Swerve also lost me a little bit in his promo. Like right at the beginning, it almost seemed like he didn't know what he wanted to say. And then he finally caught his stride like halfway through the promo.
Can I say this and it not make me sound like a hipster prick?
Sure.
When he was in CZW, he did the same thing. I think when you don't give him a script, he has trouble.
Yeah.
When you give him the lines and you're like, go out there and rip this, or you give him the guidelines from beginning to end, he fucking nails it. But if he's not 100%, you can see it. And that's my biggest critique on Swerve. I've always said all the way back, he's always been a bigger star than he ever had an opportunity to be. One of his best matches was against Joe Gacy for the CZW heavyweight title. I think it was 2019 before they both debuted in WWE. Go back, look it out. No free shout outs. But that's been Swerve's biggest issue his entire career is he'll get there and then he'll stumble. He'll get there and then he stumbles.
And that's one thing I think he should have done was if they're giving bullet points on where they want the story to go, then tell him just to get to the point. Don't try and come up with this long array of things to say before you get to the point. Just get to the point. Because I feel like he would have caught the attention and hooked the attention right away if he would have just gotten right to the point.
You're absolutely right. All right. Main event time. It's time for your main event. Darby Allin versus Nick Wayne. The blah, blah, blah eliminators shit for the cup. You get a title shot down the road. Title tournament. I said turtle twice, dude. Darby Allin, Nick Wayne. Good sportsmanship to open. Always loved the code of honor shit. Great back and forth. Christian Cage comes out. You see Nick Wayne do Nick Wayne things, and then you see Darby Allin do Darby Allin things. You see Darby Allin get to the top rope, and he's like, I can't do the coffin drop. That's my boy. So he like gets down and all that shit. I was listening to another show while I was getting ready. Somebody on the air said Christian Cage is the most talented wrestler overall on the AEW roster. Do you agree or disagree with that statement, my friend?
I disagree with that.
Who's the most talented person on the AEW roster?
Most talented?
Yeah.
See, now the question I feel like would have to be a two-parter. It would have to be of all time and right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to add into those questions, it would be in ring and on the mic. So, who's most talented of all time in the ring and on the mic? It doesn't have to be at both. You can have separate people doing each thing. And then same with, right now. And that's the question is this an all-time thing or is this a right now thing?
Ooh, that's a great way to look at it.
Because if I would have to say in ring of all time, man, I might have to say Kenny Omega.
That's a push. I love pie, Ginger. I love it.
I mean, because Kenny Omega, when he goes, he goes. I mean, as far as in AEW, I mean, the other person I would have to say as far as hardest working, close to that, would probably be Darby Allin. Because he just puts himself out there. Like, he puts his body on the line and just, excuse my language, gives no fucks.
Zero fucks given.
Exactly.
Do you think Darby getting the win over Nick was the right call?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. And there's a reason why.
Why?
Because I feel like in the next couple weeks, we're going to see Nick Wayne aside of Christian Cage.
I like that.
You've seen it a little bit tonight. That little backstage segment, you've seen it. But back to your question with the whole like hardest working right now, as far as hardest working, on the mic, I would definitely have to give it to MJF. I can't not give it to MJF. As far as hardest working in the ring work, man, Orange Cassidy. Because every time you turn on
agrees. Okay, Orange Cassidy.
Every time you turn on AEW TV, you're seeing Orange Cassidy in the ring, whether it's Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday.
Fair enough. You're absolutely right. So that's the end. Darby gets the win. My question for you, Mike, what would you rate this 1 to 5 if you were going to give it 1 bottle cap or 5 bottle caps? How many fucking bottle caps are we giving this this fantastic monstrosity of a wrestling show on a Wednesday night?
This was honestly a solid show. I mean, like every show that we have, there are some dead spots, down points, whatever you want to call them. But the one thing I liked that they did, you've seen it at the beginning where they kind of went fast forward. Like AEW likes to really like put their foot on the gas and keep things going. It seemed like they put their foot on the brake a little bit tonight. Like, it seemed like they slowed down just a little bit. Like, they started off fast because we had Orange Cassidy, and while Orange Cassidy was leaving the ring, John Moxley came out, and then AR Fox came out. We've seen Darby Allin. We've seen Nick Wayne. We've seen this. We've seen that. After that, it was like, okay, hold on. Let's put our foot on the brake. Let's slow things down a little bit. And they did. And with the exception of maybe one segment, actually, the exception of 2 segments, because there was 2 segments I wasn't too big on. It was a solid show, and they spaced things out a little bit. They gave you time to breathe.
Got to play the rest, right? Like jazz.
Yeah.
I give it a 3.25. Pretty par for the course. Pretty straight, pretty straight run of the mill, right down the middle of the road.
I was gonna say about a 3.5, maybe a 3.8, around there.
Overall, good, not great. Now we're gonna get ready. We're gonna chill for a second. It's time for the cool down and vibe session. I've got a couple questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
I wrote an article in October, and I'm looking at my list now. It was published on October 20th of 2021. Okay. The article was entitled "The Inmates Are Running the Asylum."
Okay.
Okay. I wrote Article 1 in 2021, and I stated that AEW was gaining ground and they were growing, and it was because of the freedoms that Tony Khan was giving the people. He was giving the ability, wrestlers getting to run a wrestling show. Okay.
Okay.
I wrote a second article in October of 2022. Okay.
Mhm.
The inmates are still running the asylum. October 7th, 2022. Okay.
Mhm.
Middle of the road. No, I said 3.25, good, not great. Still valid, except now it's hurting them. That's exactly the point. The inmates are still running the asylum. 10/7/2022. I said then that this lack of control was eventually going to be the downfall of AEW. I'm finishing up my notes for The Inmates Are Running the Asylum Volume 3. It'll be published on Friday on the Rivet City Radio Patreon. It's the price of a cup of coffee, people. You should definitely go check that out if you haven't yet. Make sure you go check out patreon.com/Rivet City Radio. But I'm going to finish it up. So my question is for you, Mike, is the thing that set AEW apart, the fact that Tony Khan gave his guys creative freedoms and they could do the things that they wanted, how they wanted, when they wanted. Are these the same things that could eventually cause the demise of AEW the same way we saw it in WCW and the way we saw it in ECW and some of the other promotions that weren't able to execute it financially long term?
So the difference, the one thing I would have to point out that would probably be the difference between the companies in the past that downfell, like WCW, like ECW, all that stuff. The one key thing that will probably be the glue is the money. That's the one thing I have a feeling would keep keep it together. Because let's just put it this way. If you look at the history of Impact Wrestling, they started off, you paid 10, what was it, $8.99, $10.99 to watch their weekly. And then we finally got them on TV. They went from one station, Fox Sports, and then they went over to Spike. And then things started downfalling around 2014-ish, ended up on Destination America. And now they're starting to get their groove together now and starting
Get
to
their upcomings or whatever you'd say.
Yes. See, now AEW can end up facing that if they don't find a way to get things under control in the back. But the thing that will hold it together is the money.
Because Shad Khan's got more money than fucking Jesus, my dude.
I mean, the guy owns an American football team. He owns a European football team. He owns this. He owns that. And that's the thing that's going to hold it together.
You know what's crazy? You know the Tony Khan stat of the week that blows my mind for our cool down and vibe session?
What's that?
Tony Khan has an analytics company.
Yeah.
That is used by 72% of Major League Baseball. 72% of the big leagues, meaning them, all of their minor league affiliates, all use for 78% of the league, use Tony Khan's analytics metrics to manage their baseball teams. He might not have a wrestling mind, and he might be, but he's apparently doing something right. His inmates might be running his asylum into the ground, but he has more money than Jesus. Does it matter?
And you can tell. I mean, there's sometimes that you can tell on TV. Sadly enough, you can see it through some of the wrestlers. who cares and who doesn't. Not just by their in-ring work. You see it on their faces. Like when you have somebody come out, and I'm not going to point out anybody like in particular. I'm just going to say you could see somebody come out and they'll come out, pander to the crowd and everything, but not normally how they do.
Yeah.
And then heels, they could just hide it by being a heel. You know, and to keep the inmates there, whether they're happy or not, is going to be the money. So, for example, you can have an unhappy, let's take Samoa Joe, for example. Okay. You can have an unhappy Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, he's getting this shot at the AEW World title, loses his first match, loses his second match, loses a third, loses a fourth. Finally gets to his fifth point, and he says, if I lose this fifth time and I don't get the AEW World title, I'm leaving. I'm going to go here because at least here I'll make this for doing what I'm doing here. They're going to match that money.
You're right,
Might even
Scouse.
give him more. Might even give him more to stay. And he'll bite. Why? Because he's just going to that other place for the money to do the same thing he's doing now. That's what's going to save him.
You're right. I mean, no. I was listening to you talk, and I was looking back through some of the articles I wrote. We lost Antonio Inoki last September in 2022 because I wrote what Antonio Inoki means to wrestling. I wrote an article about how important he was. Then I wrote an article that was Rollins versus Ruth, why Seth Rollins is the Babe Ruth of the wrestling world. I would love to have that discussion with you one day, why I wrote that piece. The inmates are still running the asylum. And then I wrote about WWE Extreme Rules 2022. And you remember what happened at Extreme Rules in 2022. That was Senior Wyatt's return. That was a crazy month of writing. Mike Tyson returned a lot. God. Sasha Banks working out with Selena Del Sol for preparing for her New Japan run was last October. Man, do the ratings really matter? I remember writing that one. That one pissed a lot of people off.
Honestly, can I comment on that real quick?
Which one? Do the ratings really matter?
Ratings? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I don't think they do.
I said they stopped mattering.
They because here's the thing is when the back in the day when we didn't have DVR, when we had to use our VCRs to record shows that we knew we were going to miss, we had to hope our VCRs worked. We had to hope we had a blank tape that worked because sometimes they wouldn't work, you know, and if you didn't have the tracking right, you know, you'd have the lines through the show and everything like that. And you're like, I don't want to watch lines through a show. And even the times where, you know, pay-per-views, if you couldn't order it, you still got the sound through and you sit there and listen to it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Now we got DVR, and they count the DVR viewerships as well for viewership. Like, for example, I'll be honest, I don't watch Monday Night Raw on a Monday night. I don't watch it live. I watch it on a Tuesday so I can get through the commercials and just watch the show.
I don't watch live wrestling. What's up, Sammy? Thanks for stopping by with the cheers. I almost exclusively, with the exception of AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights, I watch wrestling the next day for that reason. Unless I'm just hanging out, having dinner, like I don't have anything planned. I might watch wrestling live, but most of the time I'm a next day watcher for sure, just so I can fast forward through the bullshit.
See, and that's the thing is they count the DVR viewerships and everything like that now.
Yeah.
The ratings don't matter because you're trying to count on who's watching it in the moment. And nowadays with having DVR, especially on a Friday and a Saturday night, you're expecting people that go out on a Friday and Saturday night to be sitting in front of their TVs watching your show at 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock.
They are counted differently. It's like a 1 for 3 or whatever. Like you have to have. Oh, I'm sorry. Dr. Pepper, give me bubble guts. It's got to be recorded in 3 homes to count as 1 view or whatever. Something stupid.
That's what I mean. And then what if people forget to hit the record button?
Exactly.
You know, then you got the on demand. So do you count your on demand as well?
You're right.
That's why they want to count on people watching in the moment, and that is one of the hardest things to get right now.
Scouts is like it's life plus 3 or something like that. Yeah. Well, you know what we did, Mike?
We made it.
We made it. 65 solid minutes of content without any houses catching on fire, anything going crazy. Before I get into our the housekeeping stuff, plug yourself right here on screen in front of everybody.
Well, guys, sit back, relax, grab the popcorn, grab your drink, because this is a long list. Very long list. You can catch me at Metalcore Mike on Instagram and TikTok. You can catch me at Metalcore Mike 86 on Snapchat and the X, formerly known as Twitter. Catch me at Metalcore Mike Gaming on Twitch. You can also catch me here on Wednesday nights, right after Dynamite, on KMG's The Boom. You can catch me on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. on Prince's Movie Madness. Sunday mornings at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Rivet City Red Zone. And then Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on The Table Spot.
Dude, hardest working man in show business. I'm going to have to pick up more shows just so people think I still work the most. This is where I come in. I'm going to go through the housekeeping stuff as always. You know the routine. If you've listened to me talk, you know what I'm going to say. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Prime Gaming subscription. Give it to us. Give us that money because Jeff Bezos sure as fuck don't get it. You get it for free. We love it. It gives us cool stuff. If you don't give it to us, give it to the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. Give it to Creation World. Give it to somebody, one of your favorite content creators, as long as it doesn't go back to Amazon. We love what they do for Mike, but give us the Amazon Prime subscription. If you're into merch, angrylemonade.com/botchbots and share shots. If you're into merch, you also check out the off the top merch at Scals. Drop the merch link for me in the chat so I can highlight it so they can see the off the top merch as well. Join the Discord. Right there is the Discord for Off the Top and Rivet City Radio. It's your direct feed to the host, to me, to Scals, to Shadow, to Mike, to the boss bitch. All of us are there. So if you want a direct link with us, join the Discord. The Patreon is super important because that's the lifeblood of the network. It's $5 a month. It's less than a cup of coffee. If you go subscribe, you get all that sweet Patreon, just that Patreon content. I've lost my train of thought. You get the Raw Rewind. You get the Hill Support Group with Max and Colby. You get all of that stuff. The My GM mode with Scals and Jamie. You get the Botch Spots and Share Shots After Dark. That's a steal for $5.
It's a lot better than a pumpkin spice latte.
Hell yeah, it is. If you listen to Mike's plugs, guys, you heard the fucking schedule. We've got programming 7 nights a week. Tonight was the Boom. Sorry for the interruption. Should be back next week. Thursday night's Boss Bitch Trivia. Every other week is Career Retrospective with our boy Nate. Friday night is always going to be Friday Night Review. Whatever they feel like they're going to be reviewing. Sometimes it's SmackDown. Sometimes there'll be other stuff. Football's coming up. Hockey's coming up. You never really know. Saturday, make sure you're checking out Prince's Movie Madness. Our boy Prince is tearing it up. Mike's on the 1 and 2s. They're breaking down some of the most fantastic stuff. Off the Top Media right there for their merch. The Patreon right there. Check it out. Mike, you got anything for the class before we get ready to take it home?
No, guys, just make sure you head over to the Twitch and YouTube channels and everything. Hit that follow and subscribe button. Turn those notifications on and catch every show that goes live. And if you can't catch the live show, make sure you check out the replays. You guys will catch some great content.
That's it, guys. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means? It's time to go to bed, smoke a bowl. Me and Mike, we're out. Deuces. Ooses.
You know what's all about.